This video is kindly sponsored by PCBWay. Thank you, PCBWay. Hey there! Today with a little different video. It's January of 2026 and most channels do their annual "That's my plan for the year" video. And since I don't have plans, I thought, well, let's just show you the office slash studio slash playroom. And maybe you see something that you would like to see more about, like a video about a book or a program or a device. Just let me know in the comments and I will make it, because I'm not really running out of ideas, but I want to get more involved with the people watching these videos. And yeah, so I think we just get started. So let's start at my desk. This is my desk on which I cut all my videos and do my work. I'm a business coach by profession, and yeah, that's my setup. I have a MacBook Pro M1 from, I guess it's 4 years ago now. Nice curved monitor and another monitor and some speakers on the sides for music, which comes from here, because no, I don't stream music, or I seldom stream music. I mostly use CDs because the quality is just better. And I have all the music that I want right here. And if we browse through that, by the way, Millennium Falcon, best Lego model ever, the small Falcon, and the new Back to the Future DeLorean. If you haven't seen it, just came out on January 1st. Nice model, very nice model. And for Lego, pretty cheap. Yeah, so that's my current library, and you can see there's some art rock like Genesis and Yes, and some classic rock like Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses, if you call that classic rock, 80s music and stuff. Yeah, and right here is my empty 3000 case, because I'm still working on my Amiga 3000 on the other side of the office. So there's two sides to this office. Let me step back. There's a pad, and there's, in my opinion, the best Lego set ever made, the Statue of Liberty, and my son added our family to this. We have the little one too. Yeah, let me quickly take a turn here. Let me show you. So if you come in, you see pretty much this right here. There's a whole bunch of bookshelves and stuff. There's Atari, two matching Macs on both ends of the shelves, Boba Fett's Slave One, Boba Fett on the wall over there, and Ed up there. And this part of the room is my serious work area. So this is very organized and clean, and there's a printer and CD32, of course, and all my books that let me look incredibly intelligent, especially if you do video conferencing and the camera faces this way. So what you see is books and books and books, but you also see an Amiga 1000, or an Amiga as it was called back then. And yeah, so this is my work area. Yeah, that you can't see that on camera, on webcam at least. So yeah, there's stuff. We get to this in a minute. But where I do all my filming is over there, and that is the green mat that you often see in my videos from the overhead camera. And we go over there in a minute, and there's lots of more stuff. Let's quickly take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. PCBWay offers PCB production and assembly, as well as 3D printing, CNC manufacturing, and much, much more. I use PCBWay myself to produce PCBs, to get assembled PCBs like the Pi 15413, and I also use the 3D printing service on my Amiga Box project, and I was very, very pleased with the results. So if you have anything you need in terms of PCBs or 3D printing, just give PCBWay a chance. Again, thank you PCBWay for sponsoring this video. Yeah, so here's the pad which I repaired, I think in one of my first videos, and I did a recut of this and reposted this in December for all of you who didn't already see it. I have a few of these Chinesium stickers which help me to breathe and focus. Yeah, I need that sometimes. Have my Rode podcaster microphone here, which I just, if I do podcasting, I have 2 podcasts in Germany. Just pull it over here, sit down, and have my podcasting ready. And that is pretty much the secret to all the things I do. They have to be easily accessible and readily available so that I actually do them, because if I have to set up a microphone and do stuff, I don't just do it. So yeah, best way for me is to just have it ready and at a go. There's my company logo, the Black Swan, which is my business coaching company, the Yellow Submarine, also one of the best Lego sets ever made. These 2 shelves are my books, which I wrote. So you can see all started back in the 90s, early 90s, with C programming, C++, and Java. And yeah, I have a few CDs and DVDs which I did. And last year, 2025, I did my book series for young adults, which is the League of Nerds. And I did 4 books in this. And a trilogy of the first 3 is already available as a pretty thick boy. I did we call it the Peacock book because it's called A Peacock Without Feathers Won't Get Laid in English. In German it's a bit more rude. Yeah, and here's the whole library again, and these are my business coaching or business books. You can see Peacock Without Feathers Won't Get Laid is even available in English. So if you're interested in how to create products that actually sell, read the book. Yeah, so lots and lots of books. Lord of the Rings, which I actually landed out of, I think it was a school library of a school that doesn't exist anymore, and I still have the books. I think I got them in the 80s or so, don't know. Yeah, lots of Star Wars books, the classic Neuromancer or Neuromancer, which is now soon to become an Apple TV show, which I'm very, very excited about. Classic Douglas Adams. We have a Switch one. I had the Switch 2, and I think I actually made a video about it, but it wasn't great enough to keep it. Yeah, there's the ad. Oh, and up there, I can barely see it, behind the ad, is the Orgastic 4. And this is the only box of this game in existence. And I did this with my game company, Bad Brain Entertainment, and we started this, and yeah, never got to finish it because we ran out of money back then. Made a second attempt, ran out of money again, and then I think in 5 or 6 years it's 10 years again, so I can start again to do it again. Little art. Yes, I'm an artist too. Stuff in here, office stuff, not to show. Bose headsets, over ear, quite comfort, since we are a bit of a tech channel here. Best investment I ever made. So if you really want quiet and comfort, these are the headset, well, this is the headset to go. Not sure which one these are. I think it's Quiet Comfort something. Yeah, great headset. Saved me a lot of nerves. Over here we have the complete issues of Retro Gamer, at least the German ones. We have Return magazine, which is also a German retro magazine. Not all issues, but a lot of them. We have some of my favorite books, which is The Elements of Computing Systems. Yeah, that seems odd. But if you ever wondered how a machine really works, not just on a software level or on a hardware level, but how does this actually work? How does a logic chip work and gates and stuff like that? This book takes you from the simple gate, like an AND and an OR, to having a programmed or created machine, a real machine in software, programmed an assembler, and have a game of Tetris. So you go from an AND gate to Tetris, and you do all of this in this book, which is awesome. Another one of my favorite books, Revolution in the Valley, if you haven't read it, is by Andy Hertzfeld. I'm not sure if it's still available, but it's, as it says, the insanely great story of how the Mac was made, not from a Steve Jobs glorifying perspective, but from the grunts on the ground, so to say, the guys who actually had to do the work and had to suffer. So nice. Next to this is I Was by Steve Wozniak, also great book. And we have Ready Player One and Ready Player Two. Ready Player Two, not as great as Ready Player One, but that would be very, very hard to accomplish. So still great book. But Ready Player One, one of my favorite books of all times. If you don't know it, it's pretty much retro in a book. So it's a nice story from a real fan of retro games and retro and pop culture in general. And it's just one of the greatest books ever written, I think, by Ernie Klein, but I'm maybe biased there. Next, and take a seat, we have a few games I actually played and liked. We have Civilization 2. Civilization is a great game and the classic, but even Sid Meier in his audiobook said, or in his book said, that Civilization 2 is really the game he wanted to make. So Civilization 2 is the game. Then we have Dungeon Master and Chaos Returns. No, Chaos Strikes Back, sorry. This is the Amiga version. I also have the Atari ST version, which has, I think, nicer box. The Psygnosis box. You have Dungeon Master 2, Command & Conquer, the, in my opinion, all-time classics. Defender of the Crown. Everybody knows that one. And we have 10 Adventures, which... Oh, shoot. That was unnecessary. Which is an official LucasArts box of most of the great LucasArts adventures. They are in German, so yeah, can't have that. I would rather prefer the English versions, but I think I have most of them also in English in here. That's a pretty nice box. And we have, of course, the Emerald Mine series of games. The Amiga version, of course, being the superior and one of my all-time favorite games. It's at least in the top 3, maybe it's even top 1. Emerald Mine, great fun if you have 2 players. It's like Boulder Dash, but you try to kill each other. We have Emerald Mine for the C16 on disc, which is super rare. For the C64, I think there's not even a disc in here. And the Amiga version of Emerald Mine 2, which has a level editor, which was even more fun because now you could create machines to kill others. Great fun. And who doesn't like that? In the next slot we have Populous. Man, I love that game. And I bought it on day one. I can remember that in a game store in my hometown Leverkusen. Great, great game. Amos, the game basic for Amiga, which is pretty much the brother or sister of the STOS for the Atari ST, which was actually first. Rock'n'Roll, one of the first games I actually worked on. Sam's Journey, modern classic. Got the cartridge version. Designer's pencil, one of my first experiences on the C64 with creating my own art and music. Not a musician, not an artist back then, but totally enjoyed it as a kid. Game Maker, the successor to this. And then we have Lemmings 2, Tribes, Populous 2, one of my all-time favorite games, Sam & Max, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, the best adventure game out there, point and click at least, and Day of the Tentacle, also one of the greatest games ever made. With Sam & Max I have some history, which I might do a video about, because I was originally doing the Sam & Max 2 to this, and that was when, exactly at the time when LucasArts dismantled, or it was LucasArts already, dismantled the adventure department or the games department and tried to focus on Star Wars and stuff. And I was actually buying the rights to Sam & Max 2, and how Telltale ended up doing these games. I might do a video about that. And yeah, I have actually some nice documentation about that and some paperwork to prove that that actually happened. Yeah, if you want to see more about that, let me know. We have more books. Creating Emotion in Games, Game Consoles, yeah, stuff. These two great books, The Art of Electronics and the Hands-on Lab book. And this classic right here, if you ever see this, Commodore, A Company on the Edge. Very expensive books nowadays. We have a few business books. Yeah. Over here we have a lot of retro magazines. My first 3D printed vase. A few comics. Watchmen, of course, being the standout here. Few games. Don't have that many actually, and I just keep the ones, or I try to keep the ones that either my son or I actually play. Few movies that I actually like. And if I say I actually like, it means I have lots more. I have thousands in my basement in boxes, which I also liked, but maybe never watch again. So these are the ones I might actually watch again. Yeah, this being my absolute favorite, The Godfather, Der Pate in Deutsch. And some of my favorite TV shows, The Shield, if you haven't seen that, yeah, can't help you. And The Wire. Yeah, I have a soundproof door. That's not because I'm filming in here, but because during Corona we did video conferencing on my BNI Business Network International chapter, and it's early in the morning, usually at 6:45 a.m. So I had to soundproof the door so nobody wakes up. Up there is my first attempt to build my own PCB, which was a fail. I don't know if I have that on video. One of my most prized possessions, next to my happy birthday card for my 52nd birthday by my son. It's a certificate by Vandermoot, which are clients of mine, or have been clients of mine. And yeah, best business coach of all time, which is, they made this for me, and it's, yeah, I was actually really moved by that. And if you're ever in the market for crossing the Sahara Desert or going into the tropical forests, Vandermoot, check it out. do these kinds of travels, we have a project still in the works. This is the Lego Pac-Man arcade, but you can maybe spot that there's a part missing, which is the Pac-Man part. And yeah, I put in an iPad screen, and now this is a screen. So you can use this, put some speakers on top, you can use this as a television or even as an arcade. And I killed one of my misters trying to put it in there because, and that might be an interesting information for you, do not plug HDMI cables into a mister when it's running. Seems that misters are not made for that. Under this we have an Xbox One X, which I don't use. It's just, I love how this looks. It's the Cyberpunk 2077 edition, which is just gorgeous. And I got it very cheap recently on eBay for, I think, 120 euros without the controller, which I already had. And yeah, it works, and it's in the box, and it's nice. Can barely make it out. Yeah, some older audio equipment which I don't use anymore. More Blu-rays and parts. You can already see there are C64 tapes and cartridges, cables, kits, just stuff that I sometimes use for projects. I have my CD32 here, which I normally don't use because I don't think it's necessary. I have other Amigas. Down here, by the way, there's a whole slew of more stuff. Discs is under my table. An Xbox 360, which Bernhard gave to me, boxed. The Rolf Rocke Falcon case. I have loads of Atari and Apple and Commodore stuff in boxes down there and everywhere. Yeah. So this is the clean half, so to say. We have the television, which I featured on the channel, which I found on the street. Still works. My beloved Atari 800, which I just love it because it looks great. And it's a great piece of history. Yeah, so what else do we have? We have one thing full of CD and floppy drives, and a whole box full of handhelds and Amiga Mini and stuff like that, all the minis. Down there's my 128. This is just an Amiga, empty Amiga case. The Amiga I fixed, Amiga 500 Plus, which I have not yet made a video about, or I haven't shown it yet. There's a C64 under there. Here's the Amiga box. If you haven't seen the video, this is a gaming console which I made out of an Amiga 600. Has HDMI, built-in Gotek, looks like an old radio. That is my design inspiration, and that was my first attempt to actually 3D design something bigger than just, I don't know, a bracket or something. I think it turned out pretty nice. Atari 1040 ST, FM, I think, Falcon, C64, miscellaneous disk drives, 128, Atari 800 XL, BBC Micro Model B, not sure, I think this is an Atari 520 ST, disk drive, disk drive, disk drive, disk drive, CD drive for the C64, the one I built in a video. So if you haven't seen that video, I built a CD drive, CD-ROM drive for the C64, and this is it, even though it says 1541. No, that is a CD drive. My new PC for filming, which I had to get a new one because the old one died. Memory was unstable, and so I had to let it go. And yeah, this one actually is a Core i7 I don't know, something, Ryzen thing. It's small, it sometimes blurs, so it just blasts out air and gets loud. So I have this stuff here, which hopefully keeps the noise away from the table over here, which is right behind there. Yeah. Oh, what I did forget is on top here we have a few boxed machines. C64C, C64 plus 4. We have 1541 in a box, Amiga 500, C64C. This is my son's machine, the Lava 64, 500 plus, the black one, 1531, and boxes full of retro gaming stuff like VU and stuff like that. Yeah, so on to the, let's call it the dark side, light side, I'm not sure. So let's start over here. The stuff you never see. So that is what you usually see. And to do that, I have an iPhone mounted on one of these arms. And I'm really struggling with this iPhone. It delivers if you don't have to zoom stuff, but as soon as you zoom, you get bad image quality. So I have to get a camera and put it on here with an optical zoom to get better shots of my desk. But let's start over here. So we're coming from here. There's all the stuff there. You go over here. There's just enough room to pass between those two sides. Here are my parts. So if I need anything, most of the stuff I need will be here. And there's a second stash, which I will show you in a minute. Here's my Bubble Bobble arcade, which I built. It's not just Bubble Bobble, it's just a Pi 4 in a thing, which I built. A few machines. This is the modern C64 SX. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out. Atari 2600, PlayStation 3, miscellaneous notebooks, Mac G4, empty case, and an IBM Aptiva, which is fully decked, so all the available drives of the time. And this is a, I think, Pentium 4 suitcase, because, well, it's a room where we store stuff. Case of my old machine, my old computer, which is still a very nice case. Another case, which I just bought on AliExpress, cost me, I think, 35 euros, metal, and you can put a PC in here, and that's where my old motherboard, or the motherboard of my old PC, which was in here, is now. And I planned on putting a Mister in here, but yeah, I didn't. Amiga 2000, Atari monitor, IBO. Had to repair this, get it a new paw and stuff like that, because these paws, whoa, someone lifted them up. These paws are actually sensors, so you need to have them all. In there are printers and monitors and stuff like that. Apple monitor, discs, so miscellaneous discs for all kinds of systems, CDs, box of shame, all the stuff you don't see or you don't want to see. C64, pile of dead C64s, which I have to repair. Coming soon. More parts, much more parts. Filament, Mister stuff. Miscellaneous boards. 3000 board from my 3000, my original board. And power supplies down there. Cables, stuff over there. Amiga 1200, 1701, no, it's a 1702. 3D printer. Let's do the tour here. In here is stuff, yeah, let's call it that. Miscellaneous things you do occasionally need, like hot air gun and chip tester and stuff like that, old phones. More books, all my retro books are around here. One of my ISO monitors, which can be turned. I have more of these, getting to this in a minute. My Mac SE, old Power Mac. Is it a Power Mac? No, Mac Pro, I think. Even more old books everywhere. I don't know what's down there. Yeah, there's another one of these. Ah, there's a compact, which I think I showed in a video but didn't do anything with yet. eBay stuff. These boxes are full of stuff for eBay. Apple II. It's the E version. Some art on the wall. And yes, that is Gianna Sisters, or Gianna Sisters. My black C64 with a mechanical keyboard. Did a few videos with this one. If you haven't seen it, I mean, now the new C64 Ultimate is all the rage, but this is still the superior keyboard. Sorry. We have some Apple, I think it's from a laptop board with a PowerPC chip, Amiga 600, C64, Amiga 4000, the beauty, another ISO monitor, another Mister, in this case with a RFID, is it RFID, NFC? I think it's NFC reader, another ISO monitor, and I bought these for I think $20 or so on eBay, and yeah, they are good, but they need 60 Hertz. So if you are in NTSC land, great. If you are in Germany, little problem, because you only have 50 Hertz and they just display wrong resolution or something. And they could actually do I think native 15 kilohertz if you had the no, scrap that bullshit. Yeah, so here's another place where I can sit and enjoy my machines. And then we come to the filming area. So this is what I see. I sit here in this little chair, and this is what I see. I have all my tools available here. Already told you that this is my main top-down camera. I have light here and light here. This is my setup for capturing. So there's an OSSC, that is for analog video, and this is a switch for different HDMI inputs, like HDMI, the microscope, which is here on a cheapo arm, which I think was a lamp before. So I mount this on here. One of these cheap Chinesium, what do you call this, boards. And yeah, right now there's an Amiga 3000 board on the bench, and it's missing the CPU because I removed it. And this has a lot of problems. I think it got over voltage just like mine, the black one, which is in the cupboard behind me, and I'm trying to fix it, and there will be a video about that. There's a power supply which is up here, and this thing here is only here because of this, so that I had a place to put the PSU. Yeah, back on the desk is a switch to switch between the different cables for Amiga, C64, Atari ST, because there's a whole string of cables coming out of here for every possible computer. And my oscilloscope, which by the way is mounted on the back of this. So there's a digital oscilloscope which just goes into the capture, and I can capture it. There's my Dell monitor, which can natively do 15 kilohertz. Camera on top. Soldering iron, solder all the stuff I need. With these $2 or $3 shelves, also AliExpress. C64 keyboard. Desk power supply. And on the back there's an Xbox Series S, which I think I used for about a week, and since then it's mounted there and does nothing. Down here, same stuff, drives, boxes full of Amiga stuff, boxes full of Commodore stuff, joysticks, all that. And on this side I have one of these IKEA things, which has gloves and all the tools you need to clean a machine or repair a machine, hopefully. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. I will post this completely uncut and let you decide what to make of this. Is this an interesting video or is it not? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's just what I have here. So that's how it looks. And if you want to see anything in more detail, just let me know and I will make a video. And yeah, I will get to work to post this now, immediately. And thank you for watching. Until next time. Yeah, so this is pretty much my office slash studio slash, call it whatever you want, playground. I hope you liked this video. If you see anything you want to see more in more detail, just let me know. So I think I see you in the next one. Have a good new year. Happy New Year. And stay safe, stay healthy. Cheerio. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring this video. If you need any PCBs, pre-assembled PCBs or 3D printing, please use the link in the description below. Thank you for watching Retros in Black. If you liked this video, please like it, give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in content like this, please subscribe and hit this bell icon. I have no idea if it really makes a difference, but you never know. And yeah, it's an algorithm, so I'm not arguing. However, thank you for watching and I see you on the other side. Cheerio.